In video number one, I said that Maslow dedicated a very important part of his research to study people who are self-actualized, people who live in an optimal existential psychological condition, okay? People who seem to have it all figured out, people who have sustained inner peace, they have wisdom, resilience, they live with a sense of purpose. I mean, these people are like all we would love to become, right? They're at the top of their game, their existential game. And Maslow studied these people in order to identify a particular set of beliefs, attitudes, or characteristics, right, that we know lead to that condition, to self-actualization, because that's Maslow's approach, right? Remember video one? Rather than fixing somebody's problems, right, dealing with somebody's trauma, why not identifying these features, these characteristics of the self-actualized people, or characteristics that lead to self-actualization, and we work with our patients so they work to develop these characteristics, these attitude skills, and so on. So that's the goal. We use these as goals, as standards. And in this video, friends, I want to share with you one of those characteristics. As a matter of fact, in this book, Towards a Psychology of Being, Maslow offers a list. I think it's about 11 or 12 items, 12 characteristics of the self-actualized individual. And I'm going to share with you the first one, so you have a clear idea of what you need to do, what skills you need to develop in order for you to live optimally. Okay, so here we go. This is the first characteristic: superior perception of reality. That's right. People who are self-actualized, they have a much better fine-tuned, high-resolution way of looking at the world and understanding the world, understanding people, most importantly, understanding themselves. Okay, they have a superior perception. I mean, think about it. How do you develop that? Okay, let's see what Maslow has to say. I have a quote here that sort of elaborates a little bit on this idea. What is having a superior perception of reality, in case you're wondering? Okay, this is what he means. He says the anxiety-free person, that's the self-actualized person, can be more bold and more courageous and can explore and theorize for the sake of knowledge itself. Okay, this is very important. To approach the world, to really be a good learner, you need to have courage. Okay, and I'm going to explain why in a moment, but that's a very important thing that we need to have: courage to learn. Okay, so the anxiety-free person can be more bold and more courageous and can explore and theorize for the sake of knowledge itself. It is certainly reasonable to assume that this person is more likely to approach the truth, the real nature of things. A safety philosophy or religion or science or attitude. Do you remember that idea from the previous video? The safety needs. It's part of the same thing, right? When you have that attitude, the safety needs attitude, when you are so concerned about not losing your safety, your security, your comfort, playing it safe and all that stuff, when that's your attitude, well, you have a safety philosophy or safety attitude. Okay, continue with the quote. A safety philosophy, religion, or attitude is more apt to be blind than a growth philosophy, religion, science, or attitude. So if your attitude is one of, okay, I want to experience things, I want to learn new things, I'm open to change my mind about my ideas. And if that is your attitude, well, that is the right attitude. That is the growth attitude. But most people don't have that attitude. But that's what you need to have, you see, to live optimally, You need to be a good learner. You need to be open-minded. You need to be willing to try new things, to have new experiences, and so on. You need to think outside the box. And that's not easy for many people for obvious reasons, right? People are comfortable in their beliefs and their assumptions. So comfortable that they are afraid, really terrified of losing them, of changing their minds. That is to me incredible, but it's true. Now, I'm going to say more about that in a moment because here's the main thing. Okay, here's the main thing that I want you to take with you in this video. What's necessary? Okay, the main thing that it's necessary to develop this growth attitude philosophy, right, is to be a good listener. That is the key. To be a good listener. Being a good listener means that you approach information correctly and you process it in your mind correctly. Now that might sound a little abstract or complicated, difficult to explain or understand, but it's really simple. Most people think that they are good listeners, okay, but they're not. What most people do is they don't listen. They wait for their turn to talk. So they're not really listening. They're waiting for the person they're talking to make a stop so they can express their views and say whatever they want to say. But that's not listening. A very important psychologist, American psychologist, Carl Rogers, very important. He offered, in my estimation, the best self-test to see if we are actually listening and listening the right way. Okay, and he proposed the following, something like this. He said, okay, if you want to know for sure you're actually listening, do this, right? When you're talking to someone, and every time you hear an idea from this person that you think it's interesting, right? Every time you think you grab something new, something interesting from what this person is saying, even something you disagree with, something you don't like, always offer this person a summary of what they're saying. Okay, ask this person, are you telling me A, B, and C? Is that what you're saying? If the person says, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, okay, then you're listening. You're listening the right way. If the person says, no, that's not what I'm saying, okay, then listen closely, listen carefully, listen hard, okay? Ask the person, okay, can you say then that again? Can you explain that again to me in more detail? Don't be afraid to ask these questions, right? Nobody's it's a genius, right? That's the idea of the Socratic concept of humility, right? Acknowledge that there's a lot of things you don't know. So don't feel bad, right? This is why also it requires courage, right, to be a good learner. Ask the question, you see, I'm not quite getting then what you're saying. Can you explain that to me again? If the person you're talking to says, okay, what I'm saying is this, okay, and then ask the question again. So, okay, so I'm hearing you again. Are you telling me then A, B, and E? Is that what you, if the person says, yes, that's what I'm saying, good. Okay, now you're listening. Continue the conversation. If the person says something really interesting, something you're like, whoa, wait. You ask the person, wait. Are you telling me now F, G, and Z? If the person says, that's exactly what I'm saying, good. You're listening. It's that simple. You may think this is silly for me to explain this, but trust me, friends, most people don't do this. Most people don't listen. They don't know how to listen. And that's what you do to make sure you are indeed listening. Ask the person you're talking to these questions. You're telling me A, B, and C? Is that correct? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Good, then you're listening. I'm actually reminded now of a video that has been seen, I think, like 50 million views. An interview of a British journalist, Kathy Newman, interviewing Jordan Peterson. And it's funny because they're talking about Jordan Peterson is talking about his views on the differences between men and women, and Kathy Newman has this idea. She's sort of like trapped in this ideology, and she's totally misunderstanding everything Peterson is saying. And every time Peterson says something, she's like, "Okay, are you saying women want to dominate men?" And he replies, "No, no, no, that's not what I'm saying." And then later on, she says, "Are you saying women don't want to be at the top?" No, no, that's not what I'm saying. Are you saying women are unhappy because and she keeps asking these questions and Jordan Peterson keeps saying, no, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. Interesting from a journalist having a conversation in which she was not listening at all to what this man was saying. And what he was saying was pretty clear. So it's not that easy to be a good listener. Listen and ask these questions. Are you telling me X, Y, and Z? The person says, yes, that's what I'm saying. Good. Okay, now, here's the terrifying news. These are great news, but for some of you it might be terrifying. Carl Rogers, also with this test, he offered this warning. He says, the only problem with being a good listener, the only risk is that you might end up changing your views. You might end up in the end changing your beliefs, questioning your beliefs, your assumptions. And you might become, in the process, you might become a different person. And that is terrifying for many people, if not most people. Because most people are really, really comfortable in their assumptions, in their beliefs, in their ideologies. They don't dare to question them. Okay? Because that is the safety philosophy, right? That is the fear of losing, giving up something you're used to that provides you with some whatever comfort or whatever. So that can be an opinion about politics, an opinion about God, about religion. And you know how often people disagree and they fight about these topics, right? About politics and religion. Yes, because it's really difficult. It's really difficult for people to give up on their beliefs and assumptions and ideologies and so on. Now, this doesn't mean, friends, that people who are self-actualized, who have a superior perception of reality, are people who have no solid ideas, right? These are people who are constantly changing their mind. No, 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 that's not it. They wouldn't have a superior perception of reality in the first place. But to develop this skill, this characteristic, that's what it requires. That you listen, like you listen really, really well. That you ask the person you're talking to these questions. Are you telling me A, B, C, and D? And it requires, once that happens, then you're going to start inevitably changing your views and understanding people's perspectives. You're going to be really good at putting yourself in other people's shoes. And the risk, again, is when you talk to people you strongly disagree with, regarding politics, religion, and other things, if you listen to them this way, you might end up seeing their point. You might end up sympathizing with them in the end. And again, that can be really scary or uncomfortable, to say the least. Uncomfortable to you. But you know what? That is the way to growth. That's just the way. That's why you need to be courageous. You need to be that open-minded and you need to be that listener in order for you to become the best person that you can become, to be self-actualized. So I hope this was helpful. That's all I have to say for now. So I hope to see you in the next video, the next drop. Bye-bye.